goes to Miami. They go on the road and beat the high-powered Vikings.
It's like driving down the street and getting every green light for the next 10 miles, and you're just cruising along, and it's just smooth. And all of a sudden, you're getting there, you're almost there, and all of a sudden, light turns red, and you get sideswiped. Wham!
It's like getting punched in the gut for Viking fans all over the United States.
The most devastating loss that I've ever been a part of.
The Falcons have stolen the thunder from the Vikings.
We won together, we dreamed together, we hoped together, and we lost together.
The story of the 1998 Minnesota Vikings is best told by three men who possess three qualities.
Desire, dedication, and determination are the 3 Ds, and they're really, for me, the essence of life. And we talk a lot about the 3 Ds, desire, dedication, and determination. Desire is establishing what you want. What do you want? Desire is really kind of the passion that you got to have for the game of football. Dedication is the price that you pay to get it. There is always a price to pay to get what you want. Determination is how many times you'll get knocked back down, be ready to get back up. Sometimes you're going to get beat up, that things are not going to always go the way you want to go. How many times can we be disappointed and still not lose the fire in our belly? That's going to be the key.
Dennis Green had one desire: to be a pro football player. He grew up in Pennsylvania and became a star high school running back. After 4 injury-filled years at Iowa, Green had a new desire: to be an NFL head coach. For 20 years, he coached at 4 different universities and made 2 stops with Bill Walsh's 49ers. Many NFL teams were eager to interview him, but he was never offered the top job.
I wrote a chapter about it in my book, No Room for Crybabies. It was called Ghost Chasing. And, you know, chasing a ghost is chasing something that doesn't exist. And I felt that maybe my pursuit of the National Football League head jobs was something that really didn't exist. There would be a lot of smoke and a lot of, innuendo, but I never really felt I was going to get an opportunity to get that job. So I was close to hanging it up, and really it was close to it back in 1988.
Chris Carter was dedicated to football too. He spent his days catching passes in Troy, Ohio, and later at Ohio State. But ultimately, his dedication to the game disappeared in a fog of alcohol and drugs. In 1989, despite catching 11 touchdown passes, 3rd highest in the league, Carter was cut by the Eagles.
That was the lowest moment. That day I got waived. I was no one, no team, no number, no identity.
John Randall was determined to leave dirt-poor Hearne, Texas. He hoped that football would be his way out. But like the 2-room shack he grew up in, he was too small. Few NFL scouts came to watch him at Texas A&I, and no team drafted him. Randall's only chance was to find a way to make the Vikings as a free agent.
I hope you deny. I remember I went out to like a hardware store and bought this huge chain and hopped on the scale, man, and just, it was like 250, and they were going, 250? How do you go from 240 to 250 in like 4 weeks? I'm going, hey, I want to be here. And as I was getting off the scale, that chain made a little shing. I'm like, oh, that's my necklace, man. But yeah, I said to myself, I couldn't mess it up, and I had to do everything possible to make that team.
For a mere $100, Minnesota acquired Chris Carter, who joined John Randall in 1990. 2 years later, they got a new head coach. It seemed as if Dennis Green's dream had finally come true. He led Minnesota to the playoffs in his first season and in 5 of his first 6. But he had only one playoff win. For Green, those defeats were difficult. Even worse was opening his fan mail.
I think the letter stated that black guys weren't smart enough to coach. What it makes you realize is that there are a lot of people with a lot of hatred. I don't have that kind of hatred. You know, my thing is this, is that I'm going to establish that I'm every bit as good as anyone else, and that if I'm not as good as them, it's not going to be because of my race. It's going to be about my limitations as an individual and what I could accomplish.
In 1998, all 3 men embarked on a journey that would require all the determination they had.
I'll never forget how people talked about that team. Man, that was a fun team to watch. The number one thing, though, that I'll never forget Randy Moss, man. Man, that was the coolest thing ever.
Randy Moss was a rare talent with a rough past. He shattered 25 NCAA receiving records at Marshall after losing scholarships to Florida State and Notre Dame. He'd also been arrested 3 times prior to the '98 draft.
I was convinced that Randy Moss was a better man than people thought he was. I was also convinced that it's easy for a guy to get into a fight in high school and get blown out of proportion because of who he was. And I looked at what he had done the last 2 years at Marshall, and it was clear that he had turned the corner and recognized what was good for him.
In the draft, the Vikings weren't on the clock until the 21st pick.
With the first pick of the draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Peyton Manning.
Earlier, I called Randy Moss and said, Randy Moss, Dennis Green.
Brian Leaf.
You know what? You're going to be there for us at 21. No, Coach, I'm not. I'm going to go to this team.
Andre Wadsworth.
I said, well, I don't think so. No, well, if not that team number 8, this other team's number 11.
Charles Woodson.
I said, it's not going to happen.
Curtis Enos.
Then I called Chris Carter. I said, Chris, I said, what's going on, Coach? I said, hey, I think Randy Moss is going to drop to us. He didn't agree.
Trey Thomas.
And I'm like, Coach, you are sure enough out your mind.
Jason Peter.
He said, you just watch and see.
Anthony Simmons.
I said, Coach, there's no way he's going to slide another 11 spots.
Kevin Dyson.
Oh, there's no way. The word is Dallas is this player saying this.
Dallas Cowboys select defensive end from North Carolina, Greg Ellis.
So once he got past Dallas, I said, okay, there's still a chance we might get him. But it's the draft, and he's the most talented.
Robert Edwards.
Lonnie Holiday. Terry Fair.
And I said, if we do that, are you on board with helping this guy become the player he should be? And he says, absolutely.
The Minnesota Vikings have selected wide receiver from Marshall University, Randy Moss.
Once we drafted him, we weren't concerned about his personality because we knew he was just a young kid. People were concerned about how hard would he work. So when people knew he was coming with me, they said, okay, he's either going to work or he's going to quit.
Veteran receiver Chris Carter took Moss to work out with him in Florida.
I really wanted to put a mark on his memory that he would never, ever forget as far as what it was going to take to be great.
Oh, my God.
After a few workouts, I called Dennis Green and told him that he is the most unbelievable athlete that I have ever seen.
Most guys, you just watch them in practice. I always do the opposite. I go over there and talk to the guys who are going against them and ask those DBs, what do you think? They were going, there, man, I'm not going against him. That summed it up right there.
He said he's going to rip up the league.
I'm going to come here and try to do the best I can to rip the NFL up.
He said he was going to rip it up from the first time I talked to him.
And my whole goal is to just come in and do whatever I can to wreck this whole league.
On opening day, a star was born.
Back goes Johnson, rolling right, 1st and 10 from the 48. Bomb downfield to Moss. Down there, juggles it. Oh, touchdown! And then he dove into the crowd and got a real good welcome.
Minnesota won behind 4 touchdown passes from Brad Johnson. 2 short ones to Chris Carter, 2 long ones to their electrifying rookie.
We've got a star on our hands in the NFL, Randy Moss.
While the Vikings' young star was on the rise, their veteran quarterback fell the following week. Brad Johnson would be lost for most of the season with a broken ankle. For Minnesota to continue on, desire, dedication, and determination would be vital.
Then he told us the train slows down, but it never stops. And he said now the train's gonna make some adjustments, which was Cunningham coming in and taking over.
Randall Cunningham had been out of football, but was brought in as a backup in 1997. He won the game with a touchdown pass to his old Eagle teammate, Chris Carter.
You know the thing about it? Randall played so well that I forgot what Brad hurt. You know, normally when your quarterback's hurt, you're like, man, when he's going to get back, it's going to be, okay, 5 weeks recovery, and then we're going to get him back. But Randall played so well that it was like, good. Man, Brad, you can't come back. Because Randall's really the only guy that can get the ball to Randy.
Cunningham fake to Robert Smith, back to throw. Coxon fires it deep downfield. Moss, touchdown, Vikings!
The Vikings were 4-0. They wondered just how good they could be.
You know, to me, it's not about beating the Bears. It's not about beating St. Louis. It's about when we play the big dogs, are we going to have everything tight?
They'd find out soon against the undefeated Packers on Monday night. '98 was a game of chicken. John Randall's Vikings versus Brett Favre's Packers.
Hell, everybody in the country knew that we had a number 4 jersey of Brett Favre on one of our sleds in practice.
That's it.
Some of the guys, you know, they were always looking at Brett Favre like he was the Dalai Lama. They were going, oh man, Brett Favre, I want to get his autograph. I'm going, oh really? Favre, that come in and whoop our ass. So that's why we kind of brought that jersey in to kind of get guys, you know, just a number. Just another man. He's just up in Lambeau Field with a bunch of cheese and stuff. Don't mean
Lambeau Field in Green Bay on this Monday night. One of these teams will be 5-0 at the end of the game and in first place all alone atop the NFC Central.
this is the big one right here. This is the one. If we get them there, everybody gonna be turning around going, oh, wow, now that's the team to beat.
Randall and his teammates quickly chased down Favre. But on this rainy night, there'd be no catching Randy Moss.
Two wideouts left, one to the right. Robert Smith in the backfield from the 48-yard line. Cunningham fake give, off play action looking. Cox throws downfield, and he has got Moss at the 15. He breaks away at the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Vikings.
Randall Cunningham launched 3 more touchdown bombs and passed for 442 yards, the most ever allowed in Packer history.
It's like He coming silent trying to grab some water. He's going, damn, we got to go back out there already.
Playing the Minnesota Vikings is a track meet.
Screen. Smith gets a block. Picks up the first down. Heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota.
We scored again. Damn,
This is Randall Cunningham. And he's going for 7 more. And it is Moss getting position. Touchdown. He's unstoppable.
It's just kind of like we would come up to Randy and go, hey, man, if you don't mind, can we get at least 2 or 3 more minutes on the sideline? Get a break?
Just a magnificent performance by this Minnesota offensive machine.
That was a game that I can truly say, from a quality team, we embarrassed.
The Vikings were 5-0 and king of the henhouse in the NFC. John Randall was a small defensive tackle with a big mouth.
Big dogs are in the house! Big dogs are in the house! Knight Rider! Knight Rider! Knight Rider!
His favorite yell was a battle cry to rally his fellow undersized defensive linemen.
6 footer for life, baby! 6 footer for life! 6 footer for life. 6 footer for life meant that we weren't 6'5", we weren't 6'6".
Sorry about that, bro. You know, I'm short, man. I'm short. I gotta put my hands up here.
We were 5'9", 6 foot, or 6'1".
6 footers for life!
We may not be the biggest guys around, but we can get the job done. When I stepped on the field, I felt like I was somebody else.
Oh, let's go, baby! Let's go!
This other person took over.
Regulators, mount up. We're coming.
We used to call him Muscle.
All right, Muscle!
From his temple to his ankles, that's all there was. And he was one big muscle. When they say get everything out of your ability and put it out there, John Randall, he was that.
Way to work. You the man, Johnny. You the man, baby.
I can say I respected no other player more than him.
Let's go, boy. The night is young.
Randall led a tough pack of runts and strays. They weren't big. They had lots of bite. The defense wasn't asked to stop teams. All it had to do was slow them down, because the offense would always outscore their opponents.
You score more points than them, you win. So as far as our defense is concerned, those are the only things. Get us some turnovers and just don't get drug up and down the field. You know, we're not painting pictures. It don't matter if it's 31-30. It doesn't matter. 31-30 is just as good as 17-10. And this is what we're going to have to do. We were going to have to score to win.
After 2 more wins, the Vikings were 7-0. In Tampa Bay, they faced a tough enemy and an old friend. The Buccaneers were led by Tony Dungy, Dennis Green's former defensive coordinator.
Let's have some fun out here. We got Tony Dungy, one of our former coaches. Let's have some fun.
It was like, for us, we were going against ourselves. And that was frightening because it just, you know, Tony knew us and we knew him, but he knew us a lot more.
Dungy had created Minnesota's light but lightning-fast defense. He knew that runs between the tackles would wear them down. Both Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott rushed for over 100 yards.
Keep doing that. Keep making our first downs. They'll get frustrated.
The Randall Cunningham and the Viking offense scored 24 points. This time, it wasn't enough.
We scored most of the time. They scored every time. And so a little bit of a crack, in my opinion, showed its head right there. And as a result of it, they came back and they caught us because the defense then showed that we weren't as strong. We weren't a big, strong team.
Dennis Green's Minnesota Vikings will taste defeat for the first time this year. They'll go to 7-1.
But it gave us a chance to refocus, and also it took the undefeated pressure off of us.
If we won the game, I would go fishing early the next morning, Monday morning. If we lost the game, then I would not go at all. And so that year, I went fishing a lot.
Well, work out here and see if I can get some fish right off of this weed line here.
I fished for largemouth bass, northern pike, and then sometimes even musky pike.
Now, I tell you, there's only one thing I'd rather be doing than fishing right now. It's a beautiful morning as it is, and that's a little football.
Dennis Green was a fisher of men. He knew that good players could be found in hidden places. He knew they'd give him a good fight if he just gave them a chance.
I mean, that's what I've always done, you know, is develop players, give players a second chance. I love that aspect of life and that aspect of living.
He felt like sometimes he didn't get the right shot. He felt like people didn't believe in him. That was the kind of person he was, though. He believed in people. And I remember one time he said that sometimes when Johnny can't read, it's not that Johnny can't read, it's that the teacher is not a good teacher.
At first, Chris Carter was one of his most difficult students. But under Green, Carter became a team leader and the Vikings' all-time leading receiver.
What made Chris a great leader is because he'd been through hard times. Chris Carter understood what hard times was all about. He knew that his playing in the National Football League was a gift, and it wasn't guaranteed to last. And so he played every single game like it was his last game.
Shut up,
Throw that ball, you. Let's go. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Well, you better hope you can play as long as me. Hey, when you get on your knees and say your prayers tonight, pray.
Every day, baby.
Pray you can play as long as me.
There's nothing more dominating and powerful in sports is when you know a guy's going to get the ball, and you do everything you can to stop him, and he still does it. And I knew I had that.
First down!
That way.
In his 16-year career, Carter scored 130 touchdowns and caught 1,100 passes.
About leaving football, he's got a job with a great will endings.
Carter's trickiest high-wire act was trying to balance being a team player and a team leader.
I hated playing team sports, and I really hated playing with other players that I had to depend on, and I really had to adjust my temperament to rely on them because it was all of us trying to win.
I'm pushing them. Don't worry about it. Just do your job, okay? Just do your job, and I'll get the guy. Come on, Stu.
You have to say things other people won't say.
Hey, you got to start dominating, man.
Was I always a great teammate? No.
Bruh, man, we off the field on that fourth down, man. I don't care, man. Do this out of bounds.
I guess you would say he was pushing people to their limits. And it rubbed some of the guys the wrong way.
Come on, man. You got to start making some plays. Me out like that. Start to make some plays. Me out like that. Make some plays.
Being not the favorite player on the team and all that's irrelevant to me. But was I honest? Was I fair? And did I do everything I promised to my teammates that I would do? Those are the things that you have to ask.
Just as Green had mentored Carter, it fell upon Carter to guide rookie Randy Moss.
Rock.
Get on them hard, make the play.
Yes, sir.
Make the play, won't nobody else make. That's what makes us different.
Yep.
The first thing I want him to know was that he could trust me.
That's what I try to tell you all the time, man. That's why it's so important to catch every ball, because for the confidence standpoint.
There has to be a trust factor. So our trust could only be developed on the football field.
Hey, big fella, hey, way not to push him off, too. Huh? Way not to push him off. Yeah. Because that guy is right back there. And way to elevate.
By mid-season, Moss had learned the subtleties of the position and had shown his mentor the obvious, that he was freakishly talented.
There's no doubt in my mind why someone would see this kid and give him the name Super Freak.
They call me the freak, man.
Why they call you the freak?
Because I'm a freak of nature. You're going to see today, just keep your eyes glued to the TV.
I was wondering, man, what would someone have to do to earn that nickname? And I remember him hurdling a guy in mid-stride. He was built like a greyhound, so we treated him like a greyhound. If you want a greyhound, put him on the track.
He reinvented the bomb in the National Football League.
Back goes Cunningham, looks to throw, cocks and throws it deep. Got Moss down there. Touchdown, Vikings! The ball!
Moss is on the loose.
Randy could do things that I had never seen people do. I was telling Randy privately, he was the best I ever seen.
Moss was on his way to 1,300 receiving yards and the Rookie of the Year award. What drove him wasn't stardom. Moss wanted to punish all those teams that had ignored him in the draft, especially one.
He was pissed about the game. Man, he really wanted to make Dallas feel the pain of not drafting him.
That Dallas game, we were talking to Randy, we were going, this is a team that said that you was a troublemaker, that they didn't want you, that we don't want Randy Moss. I'm like, show them today what it's all about.
Offset I formation, Evans and Smith there. The give to Smith, then a flea flicker, toss back to Cunningham. Fires deep, got Moss, 10, 5, touchdown, Vikings!
Moss caught just 3 passes for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Here's Cunningham back to throw it and going deep, and he's got Moss, and there's the flag on the play, and Moss has caught the pass and is in the end zone anyway.
Randy Moss is amazing. Randall Cunningham is amazing.
Now it's going to get fun because they got to pressure. So there's going to be some flash lightning calls in the huddle.
And Cunningham, he looks out there and he's laughing.
And it's almost like the Cowboys defense can't defend him. The Cowboys showing blitz. Minnesota. Randy Moss breaks a tackle, and Randy Moss races down the sideline, and Randy Moss just outruns everybody into the end zone. He is incredible. Rookie of the Year, Moss!
Led by their new star and his mentor, the Vikings were 11-1. Just 1 win away from a division title.
They took everything we have, and that's kind of the way it is. Hell of a job, man. That's the way to come down and just fight it. Just relax, feel very proud of the job that we've done.
This team depends upon the wideouts as far as adrenaline and everything like I've never seen before.
The '98 Vikings relied almost as much on kicker Gary Anderson. Anderson was a quiet 39-year-old who was an easy target for his younger teammates.
You would see him over there with little soccer shoes, and he'd be sitting over there just kicking, and you know, you see that helmet, and he had the one little bar, and we used to joke talking about, where'd you get that at, Toys R Us or something? That's one unique helmet he's wearing, too. Kicker's always nervous. Kicker's... That's a nervous ass job. Hey, I'd be nervous, too, if I got a helmet with one bar across the front of it.
Just like his single little bar, Anderson had a simple little routine. Swing it, make it, pump the fist. So it went all season long.
Nice kick, Gary. Good job.
Anderson was a machine. He hadn't missed a kick in 2 years.
But it's good. He's 16 out of 16.
Never worried about it.
And Anderson, perfect in the game.
Put Gary in, he'll make it.
He remains perfect on the year.
Never.
Still perfect.
Like, it was a guarantee.
And it's good, and he continues his streak.
Unbelievable kicker.
34 of 34.
Mr. Perfect.
And he remains perfect.
The same old solid as a rock, Gary Anderson.
Automatic.
Another constant in 1998 was the ear-shattering roar of the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome.
He knew the dome was going to be rocking, knew the music was going to be playing, the cannons were going to go off. Ragnar was going to come down with his motorcycle.
And part of them being there was Ragnar. Part of them being there was the loud music, but also part of them being there was put some points on the scoreboard.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
From the 39, handoff, Robert Smith finds a crack, breaks to the outside, 15 to 45, at the 40 to 35, has a blocker, 30, 25, 20, racing to the 15, ears down, touchdown, Vikings!
The Vikings put up 48 points against the Bears to clinch the division. They scored 38 more in Baltimore and 50 against the Jaguars. The NFL single-season scoring record was in their sights.
It's not like we set out to break the NFL record, but once we got close, we knew we were going to break it. I mean, because no one could stop us.
Let's get it cranked up, man.
Yeah.
We should be in the end zone by now. Let's crank it up.
There's pressure now. Spread left ox. Jet left zipper. Spread left ox. Jet left zipper. Take your hot if you need it.
Offensive coordinator Brian Billick certainly wanted that record. And with one game to go, he was almost sure to get it.
Bill's got to be in his pants right now. All we need is like 20 points next week to break the record.
The Vikings' final total was 556 points, breaking the mark of the '83 Redskins. Randy Moss caught his rookie record 17th touchdown pass. Gary Anderson achieved perfection.
Gary Anderson will go down as the first perfect place kicker in NFL history.
Let me tell you guys, we have the 3 teams that have been 15-1 in the history of the National Football League. All right? Give yourselves a round of applause.
In the divisional playoffs, the Vikings were angry because of a declaration made earlier in the week by Cardinals cornerback Aeneas Williams.
Well, we posted, I think it was he's declaring war.
Aeneas Williams declared war against the Vikings receivers.
Oh, you calling war on our receivers? War on your ass, too, then.
Defense hammered quarterback Jake Plummer. Then, Randy Moss and Chris Carter turned their attention to Aeneas Williams.
There was no way in this battle that Aeneas could win, because either Aeneas was going to have to either guard me or he was going to have to guard Randy. Now, there wasn't a lot of people in the NFL just saying I can guard Randy Moss all around the league. And at that time, I felt like I was a pretty good player. And there wasn't a whole bunch of guys saying that I'm going to take Chris Carter out of the game either. We had already declared war on everybody. So I'm glad they joined the battle.
Hey, when Aeneas said he declared war on us, he got the wrong guy. Please, y'all haven't stopped us yet.
Even though the outcome was long decided, John Randall played the last play as hard as the first.
It was like the last play, and Derek Alexander came over the top, and he hyperextended my knee. And, man, it just, I can just remember the pain.
Randall had 1 week to heal up for the NFC Championship game.
Great Randall.
We have a lot of guys that want it badly. When you got guys like Gary Anderson, who's a Hall of Fame player, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. Chris Carter's a Hall of Fame player, doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. You know what I mean? That's what our guys really want, and it's going to be hard to do. And that's why very few players in the National Football League have them. But we're going to give it our best shot.
Man, we get to the big show, just don't know what we're going to do, because it was guys who were misfit, guys who just, you got that second chance.
We're playing at home, and if we win, we're going to the bowl. I thought at that moment that everything that I had done, that my payoff would be the Super Bowl.
We brought our A game. We're going to show them our A game today. Be physical on 3. 1, 2, 3. Be physical.
The 14-2 Atlanta Falcons stood between the Vikings and their Super Bowl dream.
First play, they chop blocked me. I went from 85 to like 35, like that. I was just in the tank from that point on.
Randall played nearly the whole game on one leg, and Minnesota quickly fell behind.
Chandler drops to throw. Coxon fires. Anderson touchdown. And those Falcons with the dirty bird business in the end zone, dancing up after a touchdown.
The Vikings are not used to this.
Back goes Cunningham looking. Coxon throws it deep downfield. Moss. Touchdown, Vikings. Fingertip grab in the back of the end zone.
Vikings answer the Falcons score and answer very quickly.
Randy was having fun. The team was rolling. And I think it was critical of our psyche with him scoring that touchdown to get us back to even.
Moss's clutch catch was followed by a critical end zone drop. Minnesota could have blown out the Falcons, but promising drives resulted in only one touchdown. They settled for field goals and led by just 6 at halftime.
We had 2 more quarters to go, and we had to finish them. We gotta kill him. We gotta just get rid of him so we can get ready, so we can get some rest and get ready for the Super Bowl.
Let's go, baby. Let's do it, baby. All right, let's go get it.
In the second half, Chris Carter picked up key first downs, and backup receiver Matthew Hatchett caught his first touchdown pass of the season.
Looks right, looks left, throws. Touchdown, Vikings! Matthew Hatchett!
Late in the game, Minnesota led 27-20.
We're a high-flying team, highest scoring team in history. But if we can run the ball and generate 4 first downs, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, here we go. All right. It's our best drive coming up right here.
With just over 2 minutes to play, the drive stalled. But an all but guaranteed Gary Anderson field goal would give them a 10-point lead and certain victory.
Let's go, field goal.
We think, okay, this will put the game out of reach.
Let's put the nail in it.
He can make this. He's made them, many of them before. No big deal. But with a slight hesitation, going, he just got it, but he still got to make it.
He's done it all year long. Hasn't missed an extra point or a field goal.
Field goal wins it.
He makes this. Pretty much this game is over.
39-yard attempt. The spot, the kick by Anderson on the way. It's no good.
Gary Anderson has missed a field goal for the first time in 2 years. Unbelievable.
Shock effect. You can't afford to be shocked in football, but damn surprised.
Because I was standing there like someone just punched me in my stomach. I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. It just...
The Vikings still led by 7. 2 minutes remained. All they needed was one big play from their defense.
Chandler, throw, incomplete. Almost picked off, almost intercepted by a diving Robert Griffith.
With 57 seconds left, the Falcons tied it. Overtime would decide who would go to Super Bowl 33.
The last thing I wanted to do was go to overtime. We had lost 5 starters to injuries. So going into overtime, we knew we were somewhat depleted. And offensively, it was one of those kind of games where we didn't have great continuity.
All right, let's go. New game. First one to score wins. Let's score first.
Minnesota looked to win it with the play that won them so many games in 1998.
That was close.
I mean, that was that far from being a touchdown, a score, and a win for the Vikings.
The Vikings could have put the game away by halftime. They could have iced it in the fourth quarter. Now, in overtime, a sideline John Randall could only watch.
You know John Randall must be hurt if he's not in there.
It was like watching your brother get his ass kicked, and you couldn't do about it. You just like you were behind a barbed wire fence or behind a steel bars, and you just gotta sit there and watch him fight, and there's nothing you can do about it. I felt like everybody in the stands was looking at me, and I felt like I just let my whole team down.
Let's go, field goal.
Gary Anderson had missed a 38-yard field goal earlier. Now Morton Anderson faced the same uprights from the same distance.
All right, our guy missed one. Let's see if their guy missed one.
Ooh, is this place quiet now?
Yes, it is.
The spot, the kick, wide. No, it's good. I was hoping it was wide. It didn't. It went right between the uprights, and the Falcons have stolen the thunder from the Vikings.
It's like getting punched in the gut for Viking fans, not only in the stadium, but all over the United States.
Everything lined up just right for us. And when he made that, it's just like everything just went off like that. Every time I think about it, it's like I still get the wind knocked out of me.
There's nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Everybody's going to be disappointed, but nobody is going to be more disappointed than we are.
Walking off that field and losing like that, I didn't even know if I wanted to play football anymore. Because I felt like that I would never win after that.
I think if we had beat Atlanta, and if we had gone on and beat the Denver Broncos, that we'd have been called the best team in the National Football League in the last 25 years.
Man, we had a hell of a team. We had a team that would step on the field with anybody and just step up for the challenge. We would play your ass to the end of time, to the end of the game. And wow.
Well, there's no ring on this finger because despite everything that we accomplished in 1998, we as a team, me as a head coach, did not earn it.
The unpredictability of team sports, that's what the flaw, and that's why we go to the game, and that's why we turn on the game, because there is no sure winner, ever.
But it wasn't there. Wasn't meant to be, I guess. And that's something that stick with me for the rest of my life.